Good afternoon, guys. My name is Tommy and welcome back to the channel. This is episode 5 of our FM23 Derby Save. And things are going a little bit wrong. Let's head into Football Manager now. And you can see that we are 4th in the league. We've gone through a little bit of a patchy phase. You can see that we've started to hemorrhage money from the beginning of February. But there is a reason for that. We have made some signings, which has been great. I will show you recently the form that we've been through. Not been great. We've gone through a little bit of a weird phase here in December. 17th of December onwards, up until the 21st of Jan, we won 3 games out of 12, I think it was. And it hasn't been that much better since. Since those, we did have 3 wins back-to-back. We haven't lost a game. We have gone unbeaten in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We are unbeaten in 10 games, but we are drawing far too many of them. We've drawn 5 of the last 10 games. And yeah, it's really damaged our aspirations for promotion. We are sitting 4th in the league at the minute. You can see here that we are, 8 points? No, 12 points behind Ipswich in first place, and we are 7 points off the automatic promotion spot in second space. So things aren't looking good. We are probably going to be in the playoffs, but we have made some signings, and let me show you the signings that we've made. I had a look at my team and we seemed to be I would say pretty thin on the ground for attacking midfielders and up front. I've said to you in a few videos now, James Collins is my leading goal scorer, but there is just too many chances that he doesn't convert. He has too many shots and he doesn't convert enough of them. So I decided I needed to shore up the ranks. I signed all my players on loan. So I've got a new striker up front, I've got some attacking midfielders, and I've shored up my right wing back position because that was looking a little bit thin on the ground. And Jason Knight, my first choice right back, is essentially a midfielder in real life. So he's already covering, and you know, I didn't feel right him being my first choice right back. So I've made some signings, and these are the signings that I have made. First up, we've got Marko Lazatic, who is 19 years old, and he is on loan. And looking at his stats, he doesn't look that bad, really. And he's got some great potential here. He's already a 3-star striker. He's got 5-star potential. And if you can see his stats so far, he's played 5, he's scored 3. He's done really, really well. Up next, we've got Nikola Iliev, and he's another loan signing. He's got an average rating of 7.3. He's only 18 years old, and look at his stats. His physical stats look great. His technical stats look great, and looking at him as an advanced playmaker, his stats look pretty good for an 18-year-old. So far, he's played 6 games for Derby. He's got 2 goals and 1 assist. He's been playing really well. And him and Lazatic up front have really changed the dynamic of the team. And we suddenly look a bit more dangerous. He's had some really decent form. He's got, an 8, a 7.4, 2 6.7s and 6.8s, but an 8.2. So out of his 6 games, 2 goals, 1 assist. I'm really pleased with Lazatic and Iliev. Next up was Katie Gordon. He's on loan from Liverpool. He's 18 years old again, and he is actually an ex-Derby player, and that is just sheer coincidence. But he's a 3-star rated midfielder, 5-star potential again. And looking at his stats, considering he's 18, he'll be playing on either the right or the left. His stats don't look too bad. I would have preferred a little bit more stamina out of him. But for 18-year-old, 14 technique, 12 composure, 14 dribbling, 15 acceleration. He looks pretty good. And yeah, he's not really played that many games for us, I'll be honest, because I've preferred the likes of Louis Sibley, Iliev, Barquazen, and the other ones basically. But it is about time that he starts to get to play because he is worthy of it. He's very fast, he's very technical, and he should be in the game. So the next game that we've got is against Ipswich, and hopefully he will have a part to play. Next signing was Rico Lewis, who has been a loan signing from Manchester City. Again, another 18-year-old. His average rating hasn't been great, 6.85, but he has only played 4 games for us. He's got himself 1 assist, but he is the most gifted right back that we've got in the club now. He is a 3.5 star, on par with Jason Knight, but having him there means that there is that bit more freedom for Jason Knight to get into midfield, which is his favoured position. But also it means if Jason Knight does play at right back, then we've got a decent bench option to come on, because I was relying on a youth player. So although Rico Lewis hasn't played as much as I wanted him to, or as much as I imagined him to, he is providing that bit of depth that we didn't have in the squad. So far he's played 4 games and he's got an average rating of 6.85. But looking at his stats, again, 16 agility, his physicals and his mentals look crazy. And, apart from a bit of marking and a bit of crossing, most of his stats look really good. So that was Rico Lewis. And then finally, our final signing is Enzo Millo. He's a 20-year-old midfielder on loan from Stuttgart. And again, he's one that hasn't really had that much of an impact. He hasn't played as much as I wanted him to. He is a bit more of a depth player. But again, 3-star rating, 5-star potential. His stats don't look too bad. But he wasn't one of my main signings. He was there more for depth because, I like to have a bit more freedom. I don't want to just rely on Sibley, Barquisen, Mendes-Lang. I want to be able to have a bit of a choice, and these guys can play in multiple positions, so that's where we've gone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip forward to the Ipswich match. Now looking at the table again, Ipswich are first in the league. We are playing them at home, so hopefully we can get something out of this. We'll play a full strength team. We'll play the likes of Lazatic and Iliev and give Katie Gordon a run, and hopefully we can get something out of it and make the final bits of this season a little bit more interesting, because if possible I would really like to get to an automatic promotion place, although that is looking more and more unlikely. So we're at pre-match, and this is the team that I'm looking to play. We are sticking with our tried and trusted 4-2-3-1. We've got an up-front lineup of Lazatic, Sibley, Iliev and Katie Gordon, with Horahan and Thompson holding it in the midfield, and a back 4 of Forsyth, Hayden Roberts, Curtis Davis and Rico Lewis, with Wildsmith in defence. I'm pretty happy with the lineup that I've got. I've got a decent lineup on the subs bench. We are missing 2 players, Jason Knight and Max Bird, through injury. And the only thing that I'm going to do is bring Aaron Cashin in for Stearman on the subs bench. But I am ready to go, and it seems daft, doesn't it, having James Collins with 18 goals on the subs bench, but an average rating of 6.7. I know that he's scoring the goals, but he isn't converting enough. And I feel like Lazatic, Iliev and Sibley look more dangerous and give me that sense of threat a little bit more than what James Collins does. So I'm just going to head in, and if we need to, we can bring James Collins in off the bench. Straight in with a highlight, and it's Louis Sibley getting the ball taken off him. This doesn't look good so far. We're only 1 minute in, and Chaplin has just walked past my defence and luckily shot it wide. That would have been a disastrous start to the game if 1 minute in, if Ipswich would have gone up. But things seem to have calmed down at the minute. We've got a Horahan free kick at 10 minutes. He whips it in, and it's cleared out by Ipswich. And hopefully this is another attack. Lazatic, Iliev, yes, 3rd goal of the season, 10 minutes, cool as you like. The midfielder on loan at Derby. He's only been here for 5 or 6 games, and I think that is his 4th goal of the season so far. I really like that. Thompson passes it across to Horahan, who finds the pass to Iliev, who slots it home. Top left-hand corner. Keeper didn't really stand a chance, did he? Let's give them a praise for that, because that is cool. That really puts us up to 3rd, and it closes that gap between 3rd place and 1st place. If we can keep this up, if we can walk away from this game with something against the league leaders, I'm going to be really, really happy with that. It's 1-0 so far. I'm going to praise them. We're on 36 minutes. We haven't had as many shots as Ipswich. We haven't had as much possession either. But we are at half-time, and it is Derby 1-0. But it does look like Ipswich are starting to slowly creep up into the game. Let's kick off the second half, and let's see what we can get out of this. We're at a highlight now. It is an Ipswich goal kick. Forsyth takes ownership of it. Iliev finds Sibley. Sibley through to Lazatic. Now, what can Lazatic do here? Is he going to work something? He takes it out wide. He does get the ball. Oh, he wins the ball back. And is it a pen? It is a penalty. And who is taking it? Horahan is taking it. Okay. Oh, it's saved. No way. Conor Horahan. Gutted. Gutted with that. Oh, that would have been so good. Lewis Sibley's looking a little bit tired, so I am going to bring him off. Let's go. "60 minutes in, we're still 1-0 up. I'm going to give them a praise. We are into a highlight now, though, and it's Ipswich with the ball. Throw in on the right-hand side. Can we turn over possession, or is this going to be an Ipswich attack? Edmondson out to the left over to Penny, who's going to try and beat Rico Lewis. Can he do it? He's not even going to attempt it. Keeping quite tight to the player there. And it is a turnover possession. It's Barquisen who finds Lazatic. It's a little bit of work that he's got to do now. It was always asking a lot. But, you know, at least he had the guts to run with it and say, give it a go. I'm going to bring Cashin on for Roberts, because Roberts is getting a little bit tired. And I'm going to try and keep the morale up with a praise shout. And that's really annoyed them for some reason. Why is praising them whilst the 1-0 up really annoyed them? That was close. Cashin with the head from Horahan's free kick. Bielik is going to come on from Horahan. For Horahan, I should say. And it's final whistle. 1-0 to Derby. That was they never actually got into it properly. They had a bit of a spurt in the final bit, in the second half of the second half. But we continued to grow into the game. And I'm really pleased with that. 1-0 at home against the league leaders. We had 11 shots, only 3 on target, which isn't great. But we did end up with more of the possession. And we did end up, more importantly, with the killer 1-0 win. So let's do very well done, lads. And let's see what that does to the league. Derby is now up to third, and we are only 4 points short of second place, but they do have a game in hand. And yeah, what does that put us on? 9 points behind first place. So things are still looking a little bit desperate for us to be reaching the first or second place. Something's drastically going to have to go wrong with Plymouth and Ipswich, or Derby are going to have to turn their fate around really badly for the next couple of weeks. But it is looking like a playoff finish, but I'm really pleased with that Ipswich game. And yeah, I'm going to come back towards the end of the season now, where things will be heating up. I hope you've liked the video. If you have liked the video, if you've got any comments, things that you think I should be doing instead, I realised that I didn't talk about which transfers I let out of my team. I'll talk about them in the next video. But so far, 1-0 against Ipswich. We're up to third. It seems to be that we're turning that horrible phase in December around a little bit. We've got some new signings and things are finally looking up. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.